Hi, this is Mary Grace Hennessy. I am the CEO of GraceBlocks, and I'm going to be giving you a tour of GraceBlocks and how it connects with Looker Studio to build dashboards and reports. And we are super excited about what GraceBlocks offers to companies. My husband and I started GraceBlocks back in 2019, and it is a culmination of work from the past 25 years of us working in enterprise software, primarily in the HR and recruiting space, and building some of the larger applicant tracking systems and recruitment marketing systems that are out there. Really excited about what GraceBlocks is going to do, and helping not just the enterprise customers that we've worked with in the past, but also smaller businesses solve a myriad of challenges beyond just HR. So excited to share with you what GraceBlocks can do and how Looker Studio is going to help us make that happen in terms of being able to visualize the metrics that are coming from what people are doing in the system. All right, so GraceBlocks is a system that lets you build stellar systems quickly. You get to build software block by block inside of GraceBlocks. When you first create a zone, it is blank. There are no blocks inside of it, and you would click Add Block to build a new block. And once you give your block a name and a color and an icon, you can click Save, and that has built your new block. And that essentially is a shell in which to build your application from within. So I can build my new block. I can put whatever information on the home page I might want to show. I would then have that information appear here, and I can add tabs. And when I add a tab, I can start from scratch. I can import a CSV. I might use Google AI to help me create a tab quickly. We also have a couple of default template tabs. Once you've built those tabs, it adds fields to the tab, and you can build relationships and all kinds of fun stuff with how the fields are connected together in building out the system, either connecting tabs together if you've got relationships between things, and also across blocks as well. So you might have a foundation data block that then is pulling data into other blocks. Users for GraceBlocks are managed by the zone owner, and a zone owner has access to the user admin block. They might give other people permission to administer this block as well. And this block is then what defines who has access to which blocks in a zone and at what level of security they have access to that block within the zone. So for each user, here we'll look at Maggie, who has just the one block. If I wanted to give Maggie another block, I can do that here. We'll take a look at an actual block. I'm going to use the Interview Center as our experience today. So the Interview Center has been built out with a nice homepage when you first come in. It's a place for managing interviews. Here I am looking at the interviews that have been completed for these candidates for different positions. All this amazing information that gets collected throughout the process is all shown here. And then this can be emailed to someone using our templates to compose a new email. Select that template, and I've got to use the interview template, Interview Evaluation Center. And now all that data that has been collected is ready for me to deliver and send. How did we get to all of this data? This data is from the related records that are associated. So I've got these 3 evaluations that were done. Each of these evaluations are also related records where this data is coming through. So the evaluation record is linked to the interviews. There are different participants who would complete these interviews and give their ratings. If I'm an evaluator assigned an interview, for example, I would get this form. I can fill this out, and I've got my skills that have been assigned to me. So I'm assigned skills 1, 2, and 3, which are adaptability, communication, and decision making. And so that evaluation associated with the interview. And from there, we can generate the evaluation that you just saw. So where does Looker Studio fall into all of this? Well, it comes in the ability to take the data from here, and I'll just use a more basic set here. We've got the question bank where I'm looking at skills and competencies and what questions we have associated with different competencies that are in here. And I will go ahead and take a look at this data and we'll build a report from it. All right, so the first piece of information I'll need is from our API. The API that gets generated for any block on GraceBlocks lives in the API documentation area that's available from that block. You can only access data that you are authorized to access, and you only get the API key and this documentation page if you actually are a builder at the builder level on a given block. Now want to grab my API key. I could show it if I want, or I can just copy the API key and not show it, which is what I'll do today. And then when I go to Looker Studio and I create for the first time, I'm going to have to put in that API key. I've actually already done that because I've already built some dashboards using GraceBlocks already. So I'm going to just build a blank report, and it's going to go ahead and let me choose GraceBlocks because I've already authenticated. So when I search, I am going to say I want to build a report on GraceBlocks, and I'm going to use our production instance, and I'm going to choose the zone that I want to use, and I've been working inside our GraceBlocks zone. Once I choose the zone, I get to choose the block. And we're going to work on Interview Center today. And lastly, I said we were going to work on the questions bank. And we'll take a look at that data. And so let's add that. So what's happening now is it's going to grab all those fields. And now those fields are available here. It shows me I've got these different types, skills, and competencies. I want to change this metric to be a count of those items. Now you can see I've got 128 skills, 15 competencies, and if I wanted to get into more detail, I could add the interview question. If I wanted to make a graph, why don't we just do that with this? I could change this to be a chart, and there we go. And now I can use all the awesomeness that is available inside of Looker Studio to build dashboards and reports, which is super cool and extremely valuable to our customers. So thank you very much.